All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for another edition of our weekly real estate backstory. So we're jumping into January here. My name is Alan Richardson. I am the managing broker at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we are very glad that you have chose to join us today. We got a lot of things we want to talk about, and we want to kind of start off just with kind of having a general discussion about what's kind of going on with there's been a lot of talk out on the interwebs about one of the really large brokerages out there in the nation is Realology, and they just went out and kind of encouraged the National Association of Realtors to change their stance on the participation rule that says that we share. And there's been and their whole premise has been, and which I don't agree with, but their premise has been that this is a time of consumer choice and that kind of thing. I really disagree. I know there's a lot of agents that really disagree because they're, in my opinion, and granted that's take it for what it's worth, and Realology is being sued. This is part of a lawsuit that's going on, kind of thing. So I think there's a little bit of knee-jerk reaction, but the bigger thing here is that we have to be looking at buyer representation.
Well, what they're saying, there's no reason why an offer of a compensation would be a mandatory requirement for a home to be listed in MLS. Well, the reason for that is that if you guys don't know anything about what's currently happening with Department of Justice suing National Association Realtor in reference to consumer protection because it's not a full disclosure. So that is one of the items that the Department of Justice is going really hard at. And if you take my 2022 GAR contract changes, that's something that I do touch up on a lot because I see our industry is moving, will be shifting with a lot more transparencies.
And I'm all for transparency. I have no problem with transparency, but I do believe that our entire industry is founded on cooperation.
Absolutely.
And so having a cooperation policy in place is important. My mom lives in Australia, and over there they don't have buyer's agents.
They don't.
And so you see where the only clients getting represented are the sellers. The buyers just kind of get what's left over. They don't really have a lot of MLSs, things like that. So real estate's very different here. The buyer and the seller in the vast majority of cases of transactions have representation, and that's really important. That's how we protect our clients.
It goes underneath the Consumer Protection
Yeah.
Agency. So a lot of them are suing because of the fact that there's not full disclosure. And when you're in a state of buyer beware like Georgia.
Well, but also part of the challenge has been that for years a lot of realtors and just real estate agents claimed that their services were free. And that's not true.
It's not true.
It really isn't true.
We don't do what we do and acquire the knowledge that we do for free.
Well, and not only that, it doesn't make sense. And buyer representation is something that we need to spend time explaining to our clients because no one believes that there's a free lunch. And so when you say, hey, listen, the seller pays me, but you don't have to worry. I'm only going to listen to what you say. I'm only going to owe you fiduciary responsibility.
Where is that fiduciary duty?
That's one of those things that they're like, all right, what's really going on? Where's the transparency? So I think that we need to be very clear, both on the buyer and the seller side, about talking about our compensation, talking about where that gets paid, what we're due, because we are seeing some listings now listed for $1 or no commission and that kind of stuff. And you need to be able to speak to your buyers because there's some properties that they'll need to compensate you for. So this is all something that we need to have these conversations about. It's not something that I think a lot of folks want to necessarily do, but it's really, it's smart, it's healthy, and that's how we're going to protect ourselves. So.
Absolutely. So there will be some, I guess, climate changes in our industry.
I think that there is going to be a shift here, but we can get ahead of this shift. This is not one that needs to blow us over.
And you guys, you are worth the knowledge.
Absolutely.
And worth the pay. So don't be shy asking for what you're worth. And that's where we run into some folks are like, Well, how do I address this? Well, you address it with your knowledge and your confidence.
Well, and showing, I mean, we work really hard for our clients. So I have no problem saying, this is what I'm going to do to help you find the home. This is how I'm going to help you sell your property. And this is the fees that I charge to do that. I have zero problem with that, and you should too. The only time that we ever see issues with that is when we try and put that out there before we explain what we do.
Yep.
So, moving on. The 2022 housing market is really rolling. We're going to share some numbers for you here in just a minute, but just a couple of key points. First of all, going into this year, inventory is going to continue to be really scarce. I'll show that in a minute. Interest rates are not going down. We'll show that. Prices are not going to drop. They are going to flatten, okay? But this price growth is going to be heavily contained by both rising mortgage rates, and we will start seeing some growing inventory levels finally. Our younger buyers are going to be at a disadvantage. They really are. Right now, we have the largest millennial group. Currently, millennials age 26 to 35 make up 45 million people in the United States.
That's a lot.
That's huge for us. Okay. And so, and the first time buyer age is 32. And so this group is all reaching first time buyer age over the next few years. So we really need to make sure
already.
Yeah. Either there but that's a big segment that's all into home buying right now, when folks are like, well, why is the market so good? We've been making babies faster than we've been building houses. And so, but we got to make sure our buyers are prepared. They know what's going on, because, we need to be preparing our buyers for this. At the same time, we are not political. We're not trying to get political, but
Never.
We know that the Omicron is out there, but do understand that is not scaring our buyers off. We are not seeing a drop in inventory, in activity level, buyer demand, any of that kind of stuff going on. It is, and so I'm not wanting anyone to risk their health. That's not what I mean.
What I do make suggestion is that some sellers are very apprehensive, and please respect their wishes when they ask your client to come in. When do they come in? Wear a mask. If not, wear a glove or the booties. So whatever the MLS is requesting you to do, please do so. Don't disrespect the seller. I actually have one that stayed home because she worked from home, and she got ill after the fact. But her girls were out with her family, so the girls was not sick. It was just her. So,
all right.
Can that be a contribution? Maybe not.
Okay.
Anyways,
moving on
with that.
We are always marketing ourselves. When I say we, real estate folks, and a lot of times we're doing, whether it's social media, YouTube, video, Snapchat, just everything. We're always marketing ourselves, even in emails to our clients, that kind of stuff. And so one of those things that we need to be really good at is a headline. And so there's a new study that came out, and we kind of want to share that with you about, what is
good headline?
What is it? What is the ideal headline? And so the ideal headline right now is 11 words and 65 characters. Now that's down from where it has been. And so a good headline, again, is shorter than it has been in the past. So 11 words, 65 characters. Now let's break that down a little bit. And so they went in, they did all these studies on
based on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, across a lot of social media platforms, and said, which headlines got the most engagement. And so first they went in and said, how many words should be in there? And they found it was 10 words and about 65 characters on there. If you're going to use a number like top 10, top 5, whatever, 10 is the best number to use in your headline, followed by 5, then 7. So if you're going to do things like top 10 ways to do this, 10 things to look out for when buying your first home, 10 things, after that is the number 5. After that is the number 7. So 10, 5, 7, 3. And then it just kind of goes all over the place kind of thing. You can start going all the way down the road.
But 10 tend to be the most popular.
Yeah. So what are our top 20 headlines? I know I just said 10, but the top 20 headline phrases. So the ones that got the most Facebook engagement are blank of the year, blank in X years, for the first years, for the first time, one of those are some of the best ones. Now, the most engaging ones have these phrases in it. You need to know, to know about, yeah, what you need,
what you should.
And so, like I said, you want to use those along with a mixture of to equal out to about 11 words on there, kind of thing. And so
all those are action words too. So if you look at it, you need to be very creative in what you put out and to get the engagement you're hoping to get.
Yeah. So basically, shorter headlines are a little bit better way to go. Try and steal, rip off. Implement. Okay. Steal works good too. We're giving them to you. But use these when you're marketing yourself, the real estate business, that kind of stuff, to try and generate more clients. The Great Resignation is continuing right now. And so we have the Great Resignation has hit a peak of 4.5 million people are quitting their jobs
going
monthly,
somewhere else.
And so this is becoming a really, really big deal, and it's impacting housing as well. And so this is a record of 4.95 million people quitting their jobs. It's not people fired, that kind of stuff.
And this is in November.
Yeah, well, I mean, it always takes them a couple of months to kind of get caught back up, kind of thing. So, but at the same time, there was a new study by NAR which came out and said, because folks are changing jobs, a lot of them are changing to more flexible positions. Like work at home is a very desirable thing, and also with more people moving, they're moving to locations where they'd like to. And guess what is one of the top 3 locations? Miami, Atlanta, and Austin. So Atlanta is a recipient of that kind of thing. So it really is, that's a pretty cool thing for us here as well, is that a lot of folks, so I'm not saying that people quitting is a good thing. It's not what I mean.
Yeah, but what we're trying to
overall,
tell you is
our area is will benefit from
growing, but also job opening has declined as well. So there's not a whole lot of.
Okay, there's 10 million job openings. It's down from the 11 million jobs, but it's still, there's still help wanted signs everywhere.
It is.
So now I'm not going to tell you that inflation is good. Okay, that's not what it is. But there was a study by Redfin, not a study, where they went out and they surveyed home buyers and sellers and said, how, if at all, is inflation, rising prices on goods and services, influence your future plans? My goodness, I cannot speak today.
Home buying plans.
Buying or selling.
Right.
And so now in there, they found that about 29% of folks said it's going to delay them. But at the same time, 24% said it's going to speed that up.
Yeah.
11% said that it's going to make them cancel, but 10% said it's going to move it up. 7% delayed, 27% of folks said it doesn't matter at all. So, it's one of those things where we're seeing where, yes, is inflation something that we're going to be dealing with for the next year or more at this point? I mean, I just don't think it's transitory or temporary. That's a good word to use. I don't see that happening right now.
This is not seasonal.
And so, we are seeing how it is impacting some folks. But other folks not. But the folks it is impacting, it's impacting almost the same number of folks to go out and to buy and sell as it would to wait. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's basically kind of a wash there. Mortgage rates. Dun dun dun. We now are we're jumping into 2022 at higher than we have been on any of our rates in 2021. So we're at a 3.22. That's higher than at any point in 2021. Now we've kind of warned folks about this. We've said, look, interest rates are coming. They're going to keep moving up. We're going to keep seeing that rise in interest rates. And so it really is here. Now, the good news is 3.22 is just not really that. It's not it's just 10%, right. I mean, it's 3.2. But just like inflation, you know, went out and polled buyers and sellers again and said, if mortgage interest rates were to rise above 3.5, what impact would that have on your home buy plans? Excuse me.
So almost nearly half of the buyers said, I need to go buy today.
Yeah, it moves them up. It increases their urgency. Half the folks said that it's going to increase their urgency. About a third of folks said they're going to have to change
and get a small home.
Look for a smaller house, because we know that when the interest rates go up, that
the buying power is lower.
And so, you know, at that point, we're almost at 80% that are still, let's go get it. You've got another 7% that it doesn't make any impact on them at all.
And 2% actually canceled.
Yeah, 2% are going to cancel. 14%, you know, say that. So will it have some sort of an impact? Yes. But the biggest impact is that they feel more urgency. I mean, at this point, if you've been talking into your database, into your sphere of influence about interest rates are rising and they rise, who looks like, you know, the hero right now, who looks like they knew what was going on in the market? That's a really, really great place to be. You know, they went out and shared, and, you know, so like a $1,500 payment at 3.5% buys you a $297,000 home, whereas a $1,500 payment at 3.95%, which is possible by the end of this year, only buys you $285,000. So, you know, it's about $15,000 drop in yeah.
But, you know,
thanks, math whiz. Yeah, but who's counting, right? Okay.
But, you know, they're talking about only the basic payment.
Right.
This does not include escrow of your prepayment and taxes. So if you live in a municipality where you have city and county, you might be eligible for a little less.
Yeah, just as an example that it does hurt their buying power. Now, speaking of mortgages and credit rating, that kind of stuff, CFPB, the Consumer Protection Bureau, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they released a report which said our credit bureaus are not fixing errors on our clients' credit reports. That's a really, really big deal. The three credit bureaus combined are fixing less than 2% of complaints and errors on our clients, on our clients.
Feel off balance.
I do, but they're fixing less than 2%. It had been running about 25%, which was still really, really dismal. And so that means that for a lot of our buyers or a lot of our buyers, their credit reports may not be right. And just getting them to get fixed is going to be a big deal. They're only fixing about 2% of the errors on there. And we know that the lower your credit score, the less you're going to qualify for.
So that and impacts your interest rate too.
Right. So if you work with a lot of buyers, reaching out to your buyers, talking to them about getting their credit reports, checking them against the agencies, sending in, because, you know, we can get, you know, a lot of our lenders can get rescores and things like that, but it takes money and it takes time. Whereas if they'll start getting these things done now before they buy, you know, try and buy in March and April during the spring and summer buying season, that kind of stuff. This is stuff that we really need to be reaching out to our clients with now. Get your credit reports. Go ahead and start pulling those. Get any errors fixed on there, because getting those done later, first of all, it's going to be hard to get done. And second, it takes time to get those things, you know, moved around. FHA is hiking their fees for high balance and second home loans. Now, and part of that is because second home demand is up like 77%, which we'll talk about next. But they're hiking the fees. Now, these fee hikes aren't coming until April. I think it's April 1st is April Fool's Day. Go figure that, right? So these are coming out on April 1st. And so we are looking at seeing higher interest rates as well. On top of them just going up, we're going to see additional fees, which will make those interest rates go up even more for second homes, as well as for anything that has a high loan to value ratio on there. You know, speaking of second home, like I said, second home demand is up 77%. The number of folks buying second homes is up huge from pre-pandemic levels.
And that's because that they're not able to go out do a whole lot of entertainment. So now they're changing scenery of their regular home.
Yep.
And therefore, this is where second home demand is up. Not only that, some people are doing Airbnb with
Yeah.
their second home to generate that additional income as well.
And some folks just want to be really flexible. If you can work from home, you can work from home or from this home or that home kind of thing.
Right.
So we understand that. Folks moving into Atlanta, I'm sorry, just folks moving is higher than it was pre-pandemic levels. And so, overall, this is kind of how it's been since 2019. We've seen more and more people searching for homes outside their area. Now, here in the Atlanta area, we are one of the top 10 metros in the United States as far as the number of people in versus the people out. We're actually number 9.
And our biggest client is from New York,
yeah. So the number one place where we're stealing folks or attracting folks,
and that's because New York has some couple taxes that's not very conducive for some folks.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, first of all, they have wonderful people here in Georgia. We have a lower cost of
Road
living.
rage.
A lot, yeah. Okay, we might have a little road rage, but overall, this is a really great place to move to, kind of thing. Now, at the same time, United Van Lines every year they release an annual national mover study of where they're moving and why are they moving? And so this is for the state of Georgia. And so you can see, we had more people coming in than we had going out. Same thing for United Van Lines. Now, about 15% are moving here for retirement. Only 3% are moving here for health. So, with the COVID thing,
they're leaving.
Yeah,
on the health portion of it.
Family is about 34%. 18% are moving here for lifestyle because we do have pretty good weather. Job market is good here and lower cost of living. Look at the cost here, kind of thing.
That's where you're huge.
And so that's a really big deal for us. So, these are all great things. And as you're marketing to out of town, out of state clients is a really good thing if for agents here in Georgia.
It depends on what you're marketing toward too.
Yeah.
So look at those categories and choose wisely.
Choose wisely. Very good. I want to run through a couple of numbers because we are jumping into 2022 and we finished out the year really, really strong. But how are we looking? So I want to go, these are 4-week rolling averages. So it does kind of have the wrap up from last year, but where are we starting off this year? And so overall, right now, we're starting off with a median asking price about 12% higher than last year. But that's way better than we have. We've been running 18-19%. So we are starting to see.
Well, if you see where 2021 tailors down, that's where we start in 2022.
Yep. So at the same time, pending sales are 3.5% up over last year. Now you can see where pending sales last year were as well at this time. We beat 2020, 2021, we beat 2018, 2009. They're not shown on the screen, but our pending sales. So when you see pending sales are only 3.5% up over last year. Yeah, well, last year was the best time we've ever had during this time period, kind of thing. New listings of homes. No real shocker here. New listings of homes is down 10% from last year, and it was down from 2020 already, kind of thing. So, we need more listings right now. We do know that as interest rates rise, less people are going to be on the market. We are going to start seeing that number starting to increase.
And with builder not keeping up with inventory. So it's going to be the seller's market for a while.
Yep. Active listings of homes for sale is down 27% year over year. Now, this is the graph that really shows. You can see, how many listings active listings do we have in 2020? Okay. And then we dropped down by over 200,000 in 2021. And now we've dropped another 200,000. And so we really are at some of our lowest inventory levels ever. And so, whenever you have folks going like, well, what goes up must come down. This is a bubble. Look, we have just huge demand for this. I mean, we need 6 months to be at a flat market. We're less than 2.
Right.
So, this is partly why we are where we've seen on the price appreciation.
But with that said, at some point, the market is going to dictate what the house is worth, not the seller, because buyers just can't afford buying it.
40% of our pending sales go into contract within 2 weeks. This is much more of a benchmark for listing agents. If your listing's not under contract within a couple of weeks, it's probably price, maybe
If
you.
not condition of the property. So even if you're within fair market value of the neighborhood, but the condition of your home is, got deferred maintenance of $50,000 more, you may want to reconsider that.
Median days on our home has sold in 27 days, lowest that we've been in the last 5 years. 41% of our homes are selling above list price. Even though we came through December, the whole 9 yards, we are hitting up into the summers, that kind of stuff. So you can see that we are still in a really aggressive, strong market right now. Overall, the Redfin, the study's done by Redfin. And so, their home buyer demand index is up 18%. So we have 18% greater demand for housing than we had last year, which had around a 20% increase in housing and demand over 2021 or 2020. So things are really
so you can
strong.
See demand's higher where inventory is not as much. It's lower.
So, we're having more and more sellers that are not prepared for photo shoots. And I got to be honest with you, it's your fault. Okay. Our sellers don't understand what needs to be done for the photographers. We need to make sure that we are taking some time to explain to our sellers. Pictures are a really, really important deal these days.
And if another breakout of another virus, I can tell you that a lot of folks are going to do what we call desktop appraisal, which means they're going to rely on your photo as a source of the appraisal.
Yep. So we need to make sure that our sellers are prepared. We like to go on our listing to our listings for the photo shoots to help make sure things are staged and laid out properly, that kind of stuff, because it's a really, really big deal. Folks are buying and deciding where to go look at in person based on those photos. So for the agents that still do their iPhone photos and that don't and that kind of stuff, this is going to hurt. And you're not representing your clients well.
It took Alan a very, very long time to convince me because I am a little cost conscious.
Thrifty, it's a good way to be. Some people call it cheap, but no.
No, but anyways, when you have a lot of expenses, I get it. But I would tell you your investment in a professional photographer, even just for a smaller sets of photos, will go a long way.
Yep. For our new construction, lumber is now adding more than $18,600 the price of home. So last year, we saw lumber jump right back up. Well, guess what? It's gone up. It went down. And now it's come back up again, kind of thing. And so, right now, the price of lumber has nearly tripled in the last 4 months.
Is that because of new tariff?
Well, and part of it is and I'm not trying to be political, but the Biden administration added tariffs on Canadian lumber, which makes them that much more again. But I disagree with that, but he didn't call me first to check. But
nobody calls
the bottom line is that lumber is costing more. It really is just go to Home Depot right now, you'll see the exact same thing. That being said, home ownership, there's a study by Adam Data Solutions. It is still more affordable. Home ownership is still more affordable than renting. This is something I think we've all known. The other big part here is that wealth in the United States is tied into renting. When you own
home ownership.
Oh, someday
it's okay.
The light, the elevator just doesn't go all the way to the top floor. So, but it's important. All right. So the top 10 counties in the United States with the best affordability indexes. Now, I only bring this up because Bibb County, Georgia is one of the top best counties for affordability.
Where's that at? That's Macon,
yeah.
Y'all.
So, not saying that you want to ship your clients down to Macon, but if you have clients that are looking for affordability, guess what?
I would tell you, I have seen some new construction over there still around about 250, hovering 250 to 260. And these are new construction homes.
Yep. And even though we, all of our price points are seeing growth. This past year, of course, our entry level has the greatest amount of pressure on it for sure. But luxury real estate also, $1 million homes, that kind of stuff is up 35%. So if you think that, 18, 19% is crazy. Look at 35% for $1 million homes. That
Mhm.
is getting even worse out there. So, but it's going across the board. That's why we're not seeing this heavily driven in one price segment. Used to be, I mean, for a long time, we'd have this level of demand up to about 350, this level of demand from 350 to 7,
Mhm.
this level of demand over 700, that kind of thing. But we're seeing where all price segments really have a lot of demand for it. This week on training. So today there's going to be a virtual class that's starting at 10 o'clock here in just a minute. Lead generation is going to be done virtually. On tomorrow, we have Teresa McIntosh is going to be teaching how to leverage business credit and get access to working capital. And then on Thursday, my lovely bride
I'm
here,
gonna be in Carroll County in our West Georgia office.
and she'll be teaching what?
2022 guard contract changes, and this is where I discuss what Department of Justice is doing with NAR, and it's good. Please join us.
Yeah. If you need some me time, you can always catch up with us at max1.rocks/chat. Afterwards, we always hang out for a few minutes and you can just kind of zoom in with us. So hope you guys have a really great week. If we can be of any service, call, text, smoke signals. Love y'all.
Have a great day.
Bye.